I welcome you all to this round of lecture annotation video. We will start the contents of week 11. I hope you have already gone through the topics of until topics of week 10. So let's start. We were discussing about the errors. How can we detect the errors and how can we represent them, and how we process a input to get rid of this error. So another way to represent the messages, the bits are polynomial. So I'm just going to read the lines a bit. A better way to understand cyclic codes and how they can be analyzed is to represent them as polynomial. A pattern of zeros and ones can be represented as a polynomial with coefficients of 0 and 1. The power of each term shows the position of the bit. The coefficient shows the value of the bit. So what happens here is that if you want to represent this total binary string to polynomial, we can represent it like this. This is the first bit, so the power of x is 0, and as the bit is 1, the coefficient is 1, and the total term for this bit is 1 x to the power 0, and we add this with the next bit. We represent it with a power of 1 because the power of binary digit here would be 1, that is 2 to the power 1, and that power would be used as the power of x, the variable, and because there is 1, the coefficient here would be 1. So this is the long form, and so for this format, the third bit, the power of 2 for that binary bit position is 2. That's why we have given here the power of x is 2 and the coefficient is 0. So we get this total representation of this bit. Therefore, it kind of similarly we would represent the other bits as well. And here we get 1 into x to the power 6. So that's the way it has to be done. So this is called the long form because we are representing all the zeros and all the ones and etc. So this is the long form. And for the short form, we take a look at here. 1 triple 0, another 0 1 1. So here we have 1 0 0 0 0 1 1. So what do? We put directly a 1 here. So this represents this bit. So anything of power 0 would be a 1, and when we multiply it by another one, we get a result of 1. So that's why we are putting here 1, and then we have 1x or simply x, that is this bit. And finally, if we multiply any variable or any number with 1, we get in return the same number. So here we have x to the power 6. So this is the short form of the same binary string that we have. So I think you get this. So let's move on to the next topic. So how can we perform this cyclic redundancy check division using this polynomial? So what we need to do is to convert all the binary numbers to this sort of polynomial expressions, and then we would like to divide it by the divisor and then get the remainder. So what happens here is that when we add this data word and increase it with adding it with 3 zeros or 3 bit values, it changes and it gets to this format. This is the augmented data word. So when we try to divide it with this divisor, we would get a term like this. At first, x cube, it will go with if multiplied with x cube and this x cube, we would get x to the power 6. That we would use this, and we multiply this x cube with the divisor with every term. X to the power 6 comes with x cube into x cube. It is basic algebra, I think you know. And then we put the plus sign here like this one, and then we multiply this x with this x cube and we get x to the power 4. And then if we multiply with 1 and x cube, we get x cube. And then when we subtract it, we get only this x to the power 4. So this is the result that we are getting from this calculation. And when we try to make a division for x to the power 4, what we need to do is we need to multiply the divisor by x, because if we multiply x cube with x, we would get x to the power 4. So we multiply x with the total divisor and we get this term right here, and in turn we get this x square and x as the remainder, and therefore we get this total code word right here, the x to the power 6 plus x to the power 3 and plus x square plus x is the remainder that we will get. So this is all about the division. I hope you get that. If you have any problems, feel free to ask me during the Google Meet sessions. So let's move on to the next topic. So these are the standard polynomials. So it's kind of what we are doing here. If the highest power is 10, we call it the CRC 10. If the highest power of the variable or polynomial is 16, we call it CRC 16, and so on, etc. So let's move on forward. Here we will look at the next topic of checksum. So checksum is an error detecting technique that can be applied to a message of any length. What we had seen before the checksum, the cyclic redundancy check technique, it works for a specific number of bits. That is for 32 bits. We have to use CRC 32 technique and so on. So right here for the checksum technique, it is an error detecting technique that can be applied to a message of any length. In the internet, the checksum technique is mostly used at the network and transport layer rather than the data link layer. So you should go through with this whole topic, read the descriptions and all. So I will go to the process directly. So in the sender side and the receiver side, what happens? What happens is that we get the total message, the M bits messages, and then we generate some XM bits. We generate some extra bits of total of M bits, and this is the message plus checksum that we generate, and then we send this total code word to the receiver with that checksum, and the receiver side receives this total data, and it uses some form of checker to see if the checksum is actually correct, and if we get all zeros after checking, we extract the message and pass it on to the receiver. Otherwise, we discard the total message and send it for further clarification, that we need to resend the message again, so that we can get the correct uncorrupted bit or message that we require. So that is all. This is the basic concept of the checksum. So here I'm going to describe some examples. It would take you some understanding to do, so please bear with me. So suppose your data is a list of 5 4-bit numbers. What is given here is that we have 5 numbers, each of 4 bits, that we want to send to a destination. In addition to sending these numbers, we send the sum of numbers. For example, if the set of numbers of 4-bit numbers are 7, 11, 12, 0 and 6, these are the 5 numbers, and each are represented in 4 bits. Then we send another number extra, that is the sum of these 5 numbers, where 36 is the sum of the original numbers. The receiver adds the 5 numbers and compares the result with the sum. If 2 are the same, the receiver assumes no error, accepts the 5 numbers and discards the sum. Otherwise, there is an error somewhere and the data are not accepted. This is the whole process that we will follow during the checksum technique. So what is being done in here is that we can make it more easier if we use a negative of the sum. That is, if we use minus 36 in place of 36, then if we add the checked number with the received negative of the sum, and if the result is 0, then we can easily accept it, that we can think it is uncorrupted and we can accept it. Otherwise, we can discard it. So this is what is being told right here. So this is the procedure in a nutshell. So sender and the receiver. Number one, the message is divided into 16-bit words. The value of the checksum word is initially set to 0. It is quite similar to that while we are generating the remainder in the CRC or the cyclic redundancy check. All words include the checksum R, added using ones complement addition. So if you're not correctly remember what's one complement, take a look in Google. I'm not going to review it at this moment. The sum is complemented and becomes the checksum. The checksum is sent with the data. So total message that being sent from the sender is with the checksum, and the original data together is sent from the sender. In the receiver side, what we have here is that we receive the message and the checksum both, and the message is divided into 16-bit words. All words are added using ones complement addition. The sum is complemented and becomes the new checksum. If the value of the checksum is 0, the message is accepted, otherwise it is rejected. So let's go on forward. So this is the flowchart, how the complementary checksum algorithm works. The sum at the first is 0. If we add one word or more words, we use this sum procedure. It is quite familiar when we had used to sum the elements of an array, like that kind of program that we had written code about. So if there is no elements in the array or no numbers to add, and then we get this portion, left sum is non-zero, and then left sum, the sum we get from the sender side, and the sum we get from the receiver that we had received, and then we generate the checksum, and by complementing the sum using this checksum, and then we use a truncate function that is a further processing of the checksum. So take a look at this note. Words and checksum are each of 16 bits, but sum is 32 bits, because we have to consider that while adding the highest numbers of 16 bit, it might take a representation of 32 bits. Left sum can be found by shifting some 16 bits to the right. Right sum can be found by ending some with quadruple zeros and quadruple F with a hexadecimal number. After checksum is found, we truncate it to 16 bits. That is, we process it and we complement it by transforming it or representing it in 16 bits. So it's a quite lengthy process that we are kind of seeing here. So let's move right here. So the first process that we need to consider is we need to add these 5 numbers, 7 plus 11 plus 12 plus 0 and then plus 6. And initially the sum is 0. So we have this 36. The result is 36. We have 18 and another 18. And if we add this, and this is a 0, so it doesn't count. We have 36 as the result or the sum. So what do we do in the next step? So we convert 36 to binary and we get 100 100. It is the binary conversion of 36. So we had previously declared that we will consider every number as 4 bits. So the extra most significant bit, the 5th and 6th bit, we will consider as the extra bit, and we will use it like this. This extra bit we will add with the least significant 4 bits, and after adding this, what we get here is this value of 6, that is this value, and after complementing it we get 1001. This is a mistake right here, and we get this value of 9, and this 6 is the wrapped sum, and this 9 is our checksum, the required checksum. So when we send from the sender side, we send these bits or these numbers, and also send this checksum in the packet, and it's being received by the receiver side like this. And after adding this, we get 45, and the binary representation is 101101. And if we add this 10, we get this 15, that is the binary representation of 15, and then when we complement it, we get this all zeros, which the final checksum in the receiver side represents a 0. So if this final checksum in the receiver side is 0, then we can assume that there is no corruption in the message or the data, and we can easily extract this portion of the data and use it for the receiver. So this is the whole process. I think you get it. So if you require any form of further explanation, please inform me when we resume the Google Meet session. Thank you. See you in next lecture annotation video. Goodbye.